Hi everyone, welcome back to my studio. This is the piece I did last week. I wanted to show you guys what it kind of looked like put together. It's a two-tiered Lazy Susan, so there's the bottom and there's the top. You can kind of see how pretty those iridescent colors dried. Really pretty. I don't know if you can see that or not, but anyhow. So yeah, it's just something to set on your counter, and you can spin it, put stuff on, and I will be putting a layer of resin in these. So I will again show it to you when I get the resin done. But that's what those look like dried. I didn't have that on there very tight. I just wanted to show you the bottom, which I love. The top I did, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 times before I got one that I was happy with. So, but yeah, they're good. So that's last week's project. I will get that resined and show it to you guys once I get it done. I may show you when I'm resining it, but we'll see. See how that week goes. So let's get you in here for this week's video. I'm going to be doing one of my friends / client won the trivet in the giveaway, and she would like a hydrangea. So I haven't done one in a while on camera, so I thought I would do a couple for you today. And I always like to do a couple when I'm doing something like this. That way I have 2 to choose from when they're dry, pick the best one for the client, and then I have an extra one that I can sell. So my hydrangeas I do with a medium consistency paint. I think this one's still a little thick. I might add a little bit more. I have my Floetrol and water mixture. It's about 80% Floetrol and 10% or 20% water. I upped the Floetrol in it a little bit from my 90-10 I usually use. This is Artist Loft Flow Blue, but it was a little too bright for me. I wanted a medium blue, but it was a little too garish. So I just put a squirt of orange in there. Orange is a complementary of blue. So if you ever want to gray down something, if it looks too bright, just add its complementary to it. That's the best way to tone it down a little bit and get it more of an earthy look. Okay, so I'm getting my apron on because I forgot. So that is the blue, the medium blue. I'm going to be using my Prussian blue for the dark. Both of those have iridescent medium in them because a little bit of sparkle is always a good thing, right? Love my sparkle. I have Color Shift blue that I've mixed up here. And I really, that one's been sitting there. It's getting too thick too. I really like the Color Shift in the hydrangeas because the Color Shift blue has a purple shift to it. So it gives you that light blue, but at the same time, you're getting a purple cast to it too also, which, you know, some of the blue hydrangeas can have some lavender, light purple in them. I also have some greens here. I have a sap green and the peridot by Folkart, and the sap green I believe is just Artist Loft. For some green, to put some green in there. I do go back after these are dry and hand paint my leaves in because I like those to be really realistic looking and have a sharper edge to them. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to put down my white, and I am going to tilt this so that it's covered. Get my gloves on. Sorry about my dirty gloves, but I do like to reuse my gloves. So they're a little dirty, but I can get 1 or 2 more uses out of them. Okay, so let's tilt this. I have this on an 8x8 tile. I like the 8-inch tiles. I was using the 6-inch tiles for my trivets to begin with. And those are a good size, but the 8 are just like the perfect size for a trivet. And then I do put cork on them. If you haven't seen my trivets, I resin them and then put cork on the back. So they're ready to be used. Okay. Why is that not? It's not wanting to sit on there. Okay. Make sure I got you guys in. Okay. And hopefully you can, I might lower that down just a little bit so you guys can get a closer view. Get you in as close as I can. So my hydrangeas are just a puddle of paint. And then I do a balloon dip on them. And my balloon is just a little balloon that I've blown up. It's a regular size balloon, but I only fill it up a little bit. And I do add water in there. You can hear the water. Just to give it a little bit of weight. Okay, and I've already gotten something in here, so let's get that out. Get some of the air bubbles out since I just mixed it. All right. Whatever that is still in there. Okay, got it. All right. So, I'm gonna do like a side bloom over here, and then maybe a little bit of other petals on the edges. Okay, you guys are in there. So what I do is I just put down my puddles in like a semicircle of where I want that first bloom. Hydrangeas are round, so you want to make sure you get that, you know, the petals in a round shape. So when you go to dip them, you're not trying to get that shape. You already have it there. Okay, so let's start off with that. And I'm going to go in with my medium blue, which is the one I mixed. This is actually a really pretty blue. I think I might use it for maybe a puddle pour abstract one. It's really pretty, gray blue. Okay, and then my color shift. These are much easier to do if you have them in a bottle, like I did with the Prussian blue. But not the end of the world if you're a little bit messy, because it's a flower. And it's an abstract flower, so you want it to be a little bit abstracty. All right, then I'm going to use my white on the top of those. And she's actually going to be using this. It's not going to be used for a trivet. She's actually going to use this in her bedroom, on her dresser, to put trinkets and stuff on. Okay, so we got the puddles down, and then I'm just going to go in and start dipping. It's not going to look like a flower on the first dip. And I'm going to dip in some of those other areas. Okay. I'm wiping now, just taking some of that paint off of there. So you can see now that I've removed some of the paint, it's starting to look more like a flower. I'm going to take that, I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to dip on the outer edge. Get that flower shape in there again. And start out smaller than you want, because it's gonna get bigger as you go. Okay, that's usually my first dip, and then I let it sit for a few minutes. And I'm going to move on to my edge ones. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a edge of one over here. And over here. And I may pause the camera for a little bit and let that just set up a little bit. Sometimes it works better if it has some time to settle and dry a little bit, so it's not so wet. You can get more definition of the petals that way. All right, and then some white. Just a little bit of white. You're going to pull up some of that white from the base, but I just like to have a little bit of white too on the puddles. Helps with the design. So you can see that first one is kind of settling in a little bit, and that's basically going to be my background for my other petals, flowers, blossoms when I go in there. Okay, I'm going to start wiping that balloon. Again, trying to keep it in a round shape. And again, I'm doing the threes. So I have 3 blossoms on here. I always like to go in threes. Oh, what I was going to say before is you can go back in and dip on this again, because you are not going to get mud. All of your colors are complementary at this point. So, I mean, not complementary, harmonious. So you're not going to get mud by going back in and dipping again. All right, very pretty. Pretty, pretty base. She's going to love this. I'm just going to get some of those speckles out. I'm not too worried about them, but because a lot of them will get covered up with leaves and stuff. But I want there to be some white negative space. Give that a little bit of a touch. Just going to add a little bit more of the blue, the dark blue in here, just to give some contrast. And I guess a little extra one. Okay, so now you can start seeing the flower shapes coming in. And I'm just straight down. When I do the first puddle, I tend to move the balloon around a little bit more just to get those colors mixed. When I go in for the blossoms, for the actual shape of the flowers, I just kind of dip down and lift up. I'm going to dip into my pad down there because I've got lots of paint down there. Pick up some of that color, maybe. And hydrangeas have, you know, there are thousands of little tiny flowers. So this, you know, this is basically your abstract version of that, but okay, I think that's really pretty. Looks good. I'm going to add a little bit of the greens in there. I'm going to go in with my darker, a little bit darker sap green first. Maybe. My bottle's clogged. This is what I do when my bottles are clogged. Hopefully I don't get this on the painting. But I just take a skewer and just poke it through and then clean the skewer off and then pull it back through. And you still have a little bit sometimes on the end, but voila, clean them out. No big deal. And they're ready to go. Ooh, too much green. Just, you know, just a few spots of green here and there because they're in the real flower, there's little bits of green in there every so often too, so. Okay, I'm going to take our balloon, kind of just very lightly touch those. At first they kind of disappear, but when they open back up, you'll see them. They'll come back. Come back with they'll open up and you'll see that green more. Just gonna tip these a little bit more. Get a little bit more definition in those. Bit more. A little bit of depth in here. And I'm going to give some centers to these. Oh, my blue is clogging up too. Must have something in there. Just wanted to dip that one a little bit more there. Some more blue in there, which is not happening. There we go. Okay, let me open up my blue now and get it unclogged. I haven't been doing a whole lot of painting with these bottles lately, so I've been mixing my colors. So they're getting kind of dried out. If you use them all the time, they're pretty good, but if they sit on the shelf too much, they get dried out. Okay, Oh, why do I always do something like that in my videos? Okay, off of there. I don't know where that came from. It came from the bottle. So yeah, be careful too when you open your bottles. All right, I'm pretty happy with this one, so I'm just going to go in and add some centers to these flowers. Just again to give it a little bit of depth. I don't want to get too carried away. The blue will sink a little bit, so just a little tiny dab of paint in what you think would be the centers of the hydrangeas. All right, we're going to leave that one alone. I'm going to go back in with these. Those need a little bit more dark blue. There's not enough dark blue in those. If you're getting where it's gone back in on itself, you can either walk away or you can continue dipping. If you continue dipping though, be very gentle with it, very light touch, because you will lose it completely if you go in there too hard. So, and pretty much everything I'm doing is a light touch. This one's really pretty. I'm very happy. Let's put a little bit of green in there on those. This mixture was pretty much a glue and water mixture. I did add a little bit of Floetrol in with Floetrol and water mixture, a little bit in all the paints. Well, I shouldn't say that. My bottle paints have Floetrol in them. Okay, and then let's just go back in. Oh, I didn't put the peridot in there. Hello. Let's give it some peridot. Just a very light touch on those. You don't want to get rid of the green. You just want it to be, you know, more mixed in with the other colors, not so harsh. More like a leaf shape. All right, let's add some centers to those. Just want to go a little bit more definition on some of these. Okay. And let's add a few centers. This does take a little bit of practice, so, you know, cut yourself some slack if you don't get it on the first time. But again, they are supposed to be abstract flowers, so. A little bit there, okay. And you can see how the center's kind of sunk, which I like. I don't want them to be so bold, but just to give it a little bit of definition and a little bit of depth. All right, right, Miss Michelle, your first one is done. I'll show these to her too, and she can make up her mind about which one she wants. So let me get that moved. I have a shelf all ready for it. And we'll do one more. If you guys are bored, you know, feel free to turn me off. But if you want to hang out and watch a second one, great. Now looks like I mixed up just enough paint. Puppy is sleeping, in case you're wondering. I have to wait until she goes down like a baby, and then I can paint, because otherwise she would be in here or she'd be barking at the door wanting me to let her in and she can help me paint. I'm also going to be redoing my studio. Since my father passed away, my mom is cleaning out her house, and she has these great, my dad did ceramics, and so she has these great metal shelves in her garage that I'm going to try and take 2 of them if she doesn't want the 2. But I'm going to take out my wall unit and put in the shelving, because it's pretty tall, and I should be able to get a lot more use out of the shelving for my other supplies too. So I'm going to be dismantling my studio, so I'm not sure how long that'll take, and if I'll be doing a video next week. I'm hoping to. I'll show you guys pictures when I get it all redone. It's kind of a mess right now. So, all right. So we're going to start with our puddle again. I'm trying to think if I want to change it up at all. I think I really kind of like that design, so I think I'm just going to go for it again. And I did not give you a close-up on that one. I will make sure I do that before this video's over and edited. Yeah, I gotta make sure I get my paints in bottles next time. It is definitely easier to do this if your paint is in bottles. I can't wait to see that color shift. When it dries, it'll pop out here and there. And that peridot is, it's like a green gold. So it's really pretty shimmery when it dries too. Oh, messy, messy. I think sometimes they come out better if they're messy though. That's my excuse anyway. That's what I'm going to say. Just so I can continue to be messy. All right. Let's do some dipping. I can already tell this one's going to be darker, which is fine. That's why I like to do 2 of them, because then the client has a choice. Got more of that gray blue in the The gray, well, really it's the gray blue that's coming through on that one. I don't know, the Prussian blue seems to be hiding. All right. Uh-oh. Could you hear Bandit come in? And now Puppy's in here. Hey, Chloe. What are you doing? Don't get into stuff. Oh, she grabbed one of my old gloves. She's going to take off with it. Silly girl. They are becoming good friends, which is good. Because that was one of the main reasons we got her was, well, because Daisy's gone now. But also because he's a big dog. He's 141 pounds. He's a German Shepherd Lab. And we need to wear him out. So she is really good for that. And it'll keep him younger. It'll keep him more active too. So. Do you see how I'm kind of dipping and kind of twirling that paint? Just to get some of that dark to come up and kind of get the shape on the outer edges of the hydrangea. Okay. Got some cool cells going on in this one. Got even more now. Okay, let's go in and do some defining these flowers here. I just love these colors together. Well, you know me in blues. Or if you don't know, if you're new to my channel or you haven't been around a long time, I love blue. Blue and purple. Favorite colors. Just trying to get some of that paint up too. There's too much paint on here. There we go. Just trying to find areas where I can get some paint up and make it look more like a flower. What you got, little girl? She's so happy right now. She's got one of my old gloves. I'll have to get her on camera for you guys. little bit more white back in the centers of some of those, so it's not quite so blue. Just picking up some of the white off my pad, going back in. All right, just gonna get rid of some of these specks just by dipping my finger in. Can you hear her down there? What have you got? What do you got now? She is busy. She slept for about an hour, so I guess that's pretty good. Easily entertained too. Okay, just dipping these leaves in, just giving them a little bit of a zhuzh, if that's a word. All right, and let's go back in. Just going to carefully dip these a little bit more before I go in with the centers. Just sit for a minute. So they're a little different, but very close. I'll be curious to see which one she chooses. She'll probably tell me, you pick, I don't care. Michelle's very easygoing. All right, let me dip. Uh-oh, she left the room. That worries me a little bit. When you're going back in to get more of that definition, it's better if you dip in between. For the most part. You saw there I didn't dip, but because you're trying to remove some of that paint. There's too much paint on there. Right now I'm trying to add some paint into this one. a little too light for me. Let's go in with the dark blue on these and just add a little bit of centers. And then we're done. And then I will give you guys a close-up. Hope you guys have a good week. Like I said, I'm going to start working on my studio. So I can help my mom out and get rid of those racks. Oh, darn. She's actually doing me a huge favor because those are expensive racks. All right, so there is number 2. And when I'm finished, like I said, I'll put some background leaves in and I'll hand paint those. Maybe I'll do a video. I keep saying that, I haven't done it yet. I do have another video on hydrangeas too, if you want to look that one up. So I want to torch this a little bit. Give you guys a close-up. There's that corner one. Or actually, that's the side one. And then the corner one. So very cool. We'll let that one sit here. I'm going to go get the other one, and I'll do a close-up of both of them so you guys can see them side by side. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, there they are. But first I wanted to show you Miss Chloe. I don't know what she's into. Chloe! Hey, Chloe. Say hi. Say hi, little girl. Okay, she's back to her rummaging around in my stuff. Sorry, I'm probably making you dizzy. Chloe! Hey, little girl. Isn't she a cutie? Okay, anyhow, back to work. So this is the first one. And that's what it looks like on a faraway view. And then this one, very different. So I was kind of surprised when I got them together, how different they were. I think I was more heavy-handed with the blues on the second one. And I actually think I like that better, but we'll see. She might choose the, I love that little sprout there. She might choose the other, the lighter one. We'll see. But you can see the green and how the blue kind of sinks down in. I may have to go back in and add some blue by hand after they dry, because sometimes they sink too much. Okay, and there's that one, full view. Give you a picture of them together. So there they are. Which one would you choose? Let me know in the comments below. So I will see you guys next week, hopefully, just depending on this whole studio mess. But hopefully I'll see you next week. Have a great week. Please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.